Hello, Raven Shri from Wild Soul Wanderings, and I would like to share two more pages with you from my book, The Hero's Journey Art Journal. A little preamble, a little personal share before I show you the book. The pandemic was quite an intense experience for many of us, myself included. And it was a time of extreme and intense isolation for me, especially. Also, during the time of the pandemic, I got diagnosed with a pretty scary medical thing, and that led me into a pretty profound experience of interacting with and preparing for death. I wrote my eulogy, I did my will, I had the end of life conversations with my primary and secondary plug pullers, and it was a lot of energy to go through while I was also in a very isolated pandemic cocoon. And so here I am, still alive, and now I'm working with the energy of the Fool and this concept of new beginnings. And so that is a little bit of a personal share for these two pages in my art journal that support some of these energetics in my life. So I hope these inspire and support and comfort you in some ways as well. So this is the first page that I'd like to share with you. And I love that I've got coyote medicine here. And I'll read a little bit of what this says here. Once again, I like to type up the story and then print it up and add it to the art journal so that everything has a little bit of a consistent vibe to it. And it reads, "The pandemic brought a lot of trickster energy alive around the globe. We were all living our lives the way we always do, then everything stopped. Trickster energy shook things up big time. Many people went into isolation with core family members or community groups. I isolated solo for years without much contact with humans. This greatly diminished the vibrancy of the Fool in my life. As things open up and a new way is formed, I am calling on the Fool to help me emerge from isolation and find a new way back into humanity." I was just getting my bearings in my middle world apprenticeship and with my new job in New York City when the pandemic started. And COVID forced me into solitude, and I sank rather comfortably and quite deeply into some really deep isolation patterns. And I love this image. It totally captures how I felt through much of the pandemic. And this little quote reads, "Life is a journey that must be traveled no matter how bad the roads and accommodations." So I really appreciate being able to look at the medicine of the pandemic in this retrospective. And so this side of the page is really special to me. I love this image of the Fool. Oftentimes the Fool is seen as a vibrant young adolescent. And this was something that I really had to walk the road of life with, was this hand-holding with death and preparing for that and moving into that energetic and my aging and still trying to engage the energy of the Fool and walk the good path and believe that great things could happen. And so this page is special for me. I love a lot of the gray scale, a lot of the black and white with just a little bit of color. And so as I emerge out of the pandemic cocoon and walk back out into the world in my aging body, I really want to walk the path with the Fool reminding me that, yes, great things do happen. And that leads me to this next page that I would like to share with you. So the Fool in tarot is the first card in the deck. It's the 0 card. And so the Fool is the 0 card in a tarot deck. It is nothing and everything. There is no beginning and no end.
And this was something I really explored as I was in my death lodge process and preparing for death and really striving to visualize that eternal evolutionary journey that we take, and playing with the belief that even though my physical body dies, that there's still something magnificent in the afterworld. But I'm still alive in my body, so how can I celebrate that? And I loved putting this image of an older woman here to really remind myself that you're never too old to be the fool. That just because I'm in an aging body doesn't mean I can't have youth and splendor and fun. The fool is the starting point. It is the ending point too. It is also the presence that travels between the two. And so I just really enjoyed working this page with the concept of zero and that beginning and ending and everything in between, and allowing my aging body and the fears that I had with death and the isolation I was experiencing with COVID to really allow the Fool to open up some beautiful possibilities. The Fool's task is to experience and understand everything as they live through all the archetypal forces portrayed in tarot. They start out the Fool and come full circle back to the beginning. In this way, they become the wise sage. And so that is what the Fool is prompting of me as I write my book, this art journal book, and really explore how can I become the wise sage. And so the encouragement for you is, as you age and as you mature, how can you continue to find the Fool and the wise sage and the splendor and awe and mystery of every moment of your life?